Camera rolling.
Scene 3, Echo, take 1.
For a few days last summer, downtown St. Louis became a movie set. Streets were closed as cameras and crew rolled in to shoot key scenes for the upcoming short film, Fugue.
Everybody stand by. Action.
Fugue is an action-packed mind-bender that follows one man's frantic search for truth after suffering sudden memory loss. The film features ambitious stunts and a complex script, but its most intriguing aspect is that the screenwriter and director, Gabe Sheets, is only 15 years old.
When I was 6, the next door neighbor got an iPod Nano. It was the first one with the camera on the back. And, we just started making little videos, and as we kept making videos and running around the neighborhood, it really turned into sort of a passion. My parents really started taking an interest, and, over the last 8 years, we've just gotten more serious about it. And we started networking and trying to find people in the St. Louis area who were doing the same thing. And we made a first sort of official short film where I got to direct. After that, we sort of grew the network even more and did Fugue.
Gabe's network included Austin, Philip, and Curtis McCarty, founders of Brothers 3 Studios. Despite all three being under the age of 25, their vast industry experience in camera, lighting, and audio was invaluable. As soon as director of photography Austin read the script for Fugue, he knew it should be their next project together.
It was honestly everything that I could have asked for from a script. As complex as it was, as hard as I knew it was going to be technically, this story connects with me because it gives me a sense of direction.
It was a terrific story arc. On the first read, I thought, holy moly, this sounds cool.
The lead role in Fugue was written for Scott Dunn, an established local actor that Gabe had met during a workshop. By conscientiously expanding his network within the film industry, Gabe started production with a huge support system, made up of the entire cast and crew, many of them lending decades worth of expertise, advice, and observation to the young filmmaker.
Our first AC, Justin Stagg, said to me, at the end of day 2, filmmaking is just problem solving. So that's sort of what I had to learn was, instead of crafting the vision each day, we're probably just going to be problem solving. One day in particular, I had like 5 shots that were essential shots. We only had time for 3. So just making stuff like that work, it's really challenging. And especially when you have a lot of people donating their time, the pressure begins to build and build and build. But because we had done so much planning up front and there was so much intention, I think that sort of benefited us in the end. So when we were fixing the problems, the vision of the film seeped in.
And as much as it was stressful, it was also relieving to be like, okay, this is the decision we're making, let's do it. As a DP, I have to have that from a director, and Gabe definitely delivered.
It's really sort of beautiful to go back and look at footage and like, I was so worried about that little aspect, and now that you're seeing the big picture, things weren't as bad as they seemed. It has been really incredible to experience this filmmaking journey at such an accelerated rate. I'm pinching myself constantly like, wow, we get to do this. I get to do this and I'm 15. And sometimes, you get self-conscious like, well, I probably sound really naive asking this, but you just have to go for it. And I think that's one of the important things is if you ask, a lot of times people will just be like, yeah, of course I'll do that. And all of a sudden, you're running over your actor with a car.
The euphoria of action, like there is no pain. You just go. It's a matter of understanding the body, like knowing what movements to manifest the right reactions without endangering myself, trusting the driver not to forget which is brake and which is accelerator.
I think originally when I read the script, I was like, he's gonna want to see a bunch of like camera angles, and I asked him, and his response was, no, I want it all in one shot. I want to see his full body get hit by a car and roll off and hit the concrete.
We need to sell the audience on it so that they can sort of be with the reality of the film for the remainder of what's happening. So if we can sell them on this, we've got them. When people meet me, I'm sure they have a lot of judgments. And over time, I found that as we communicate and as we sort of interact, the relationship sort of just builds naturally. Their preconceived notions about my abilities sort of fade away.
After a challenging yet rewarding shoot, Fugue is finally in the can and set to be released in January 2018. For many of the local cast and crew, it's time to start looking for the next role or project, which can be tough in the St. Louis region as it works to find its feet in the film industry.
After working in Chicago, Atlanta, New York, coming home and finding that there are other people who are also coming back to this city. Let's start up production companies, let's push for features, let's do this and let's work together.
Fugue is going to do some fueling to the industry here locally. I think we're all excited about that.
I think that's one of the reasons why this project went so well.
I agree.
Because so many people came together. I mean, I would say there's like 7 or 8 different groups, from different studios and different organizations that came together for this project.
In hindsight, just seeing how everything sort of worked out in the end, and how all these people I knew and all these connections I had made had a major effect on my work.